And welcome back to Love Your Food. This week we have a pretty simple recipe for you for stuffed mushroom caps. Now, if you're anything like us, you've had to push off some of your holiday parties till sometime in the new year. So here is something to get you ready for some of those parties coming up. Hopefully everyone will be able to get together soon. So here's our ingredients. We're starting with some criminy mushrooms. You can also use white. Some breadcrumbs, we're using panko. Some cream cheese, some shallot, some parsley, some white onion, and a little bit of hot sauce. We're just using Tabasco for this one. So it's very, very simple. The first thing we're going to do is take all of the stems out of our mushrooms, and you want to make sure that they're pretty clean inside because you want room for the stuffing to go inside. It makes for a more interesting stuffed mushroom if there's more stuff stuffed inside your mushrooms. So we're going to take out all the stems and just sit out the mushrooms just to let them wait while we get everything together. And then we're going to chop up the stems and as we've done a couple times recently, we're going to make a duxelles sauce out of them. So, or I should say more like a paste, honestly. So you want to cut across the grain of the mushroom stems and then chop them pretty finely. We're going to put these into a nice hot pan and let them cook down into basically a very mushroomy dark paste. So next thing we're going to do is the same for our shallots, and again, we want these pretty small. If you want to take the time to, perfectly brunoise these until they're amazing, you can do that. We don't think that's necessary. They're going to be cooked down for a long, long time. Same with our onion. We're going to cook this for quite a while, but we do want it to be pretty small in size, so we're just going to cut it pretty finely. Once everything's chopped, that's going to go into a nice hot pan with butter. You can also use oil for this. And we're going to cook these down. And it's going to cook down for quite a while, honestly. One thing that most people do is undercook their mushrooms. So we do want this to cook for quite some time. So we're going to get all of those beautiful aromatics and the mushroom stems together in there. And just let them cook on a lower temperature. Just cook out for a long time. You do want to add a little bit of salt because it's important that we draw some of the moisture out. We don't want too much moisture in this before it is added to our mixture. So here you can see everything is soft and cooked down quite a lot already. We want it to go further, but we also don't want it to burn. So what we're going to do is, because it has lost a lot of moisture already, but it's not quite caramelized as much as we want, we're going to add a little bit of water. It's just going to slow down that sort of moisture removal. It's going to add a bunch of moisture to the pan, and it's going to let them caramelize a little bit more in the heat. So if you feel like it's going too fast, you can always slow it down with just a little bit of water. Those mushrooms are going to soak it back up until you get to here. And again, this is really dark. This is exactly where we want it. It really concentrates that mushroom flavor. So we're going to pop that into our mixing bowl. And you want to get all those nice little bits out of the bottom there. You don't really want to deglaze this because we don't want to add a whole lot of moisture once again. While it's still hot, we're going to cut in our cream cheese. Now, we're using just Philadelphia cream cheese. You can use whatever kind of cream cheese you like. Full fat is going to taste better, of course, and going to hold together better as well. So we're going to use the residual heat in those mushrooms and onions to melt the cream cheese a little bit and make it into this really rich, beautiful paste. And that's our duxelle with the cream cheese there. Now to that mixture, we're going to add the rest of our ingredients. So first thing we're going to do is chop our parsley. Once again, we want this pretty small. We want it to be pretty smooth in the final result. So we're going to chop that pretty finely. And that's going to go into our mixture. Next thing is going to be our breadcrumbs. Now you can see we've already added a little dash of Tabasco in there. We're only going to add about 2 tablespoons of the breadcrumbs. The rest are going to be for the top. And what they do is kind of give everything a little bit of structure. It's going to make sure that when these are baked, the cream cheese doesn't just melt and run out of your mushroom caps. So you want to make sure that there's a little bit of those breadcrumbs inside just for some structure to hold everything aloft. Once everything's well mixed, we're just going to get a little teaspoon and sort of tuck that into all the little corners of one of the mushroom caps and leave some on top. And you want to make sure that there's a little bit on the top just poking out, and that's really a point of interest for it tastes good. You're also going to have more material here, of course, because we used those stems, which, stuck out quite a ways, and we added a bunch of material to it as well. So regardless of how much you cook down, it's still going to be more. Just dip those into the rest of the breadcrumbs, these beautiful panko breadcrumbs, and into the oven they go. And we're going to bake those for a little while until we get a nice sort of crispy brown on the breadcrumbs on top. And again, we use these panko breadcrumbs. You could use just plain breadcrumbs as well. It'll work just as well. And here we go into those beautiful mushroom caps, and the mushrooms are cooked wonderfully. The filling has not fallen apart. It hasn't melted out of the mushroom caps or anything. And these are just about perfect. Absolutely delicious. Super, super simple. Really great for parties. We hope you'll give this a try if you have any entertaining you're going to be doing anytime soon. And we hope you'll give this one a try. If you like this recipe, please do like and subscribe. And if you have any recipes you'd like to see Chef Caleb try on the channel, please let us know in the comments below. And remember to love your food.